Thanks for your company this afternoon. Now to a very first story. The Narcotics Control Commission has carried out a series of intelligence-led operations across the eastern and greater Accra regions, dismantling several drug dens as part of a festive season crackdown dubbed Operation White Ember. The coordinated raids targeted known drug hubs stretching from Mfe and Tutu in the eastern region to Medina, Redco Flats, Zongo Junction, and the railway slums of Airport City in the Greater Accra region. On Boxing Day, NACOC extended the operation to Tema Community 1 and Tishinungwa, where dozens of suspects were arrested and quantities of narcotic substances seized with the support of NACOC K9 unit. As part of the wider security sweep, patrols were also conducted at shopping malls and beaches across the capital to curb drug activity during the Christmas festivities. Beyond the arrest, NACOC highlighted the broader social impact of the operation, noting that the drugs seized, ranging from ecstasy and methamphetamine to cannabis-laced alcoholic beverages, represents thousands of lives saved from the brink of addiction during the festive period. The Commission said the operation reflects its commitment to ensuring that Christmas remains a season of joy rather than tragedy, where in public spaces, residential communities, beaches, or informal settlements. In total, 72 suspects were arrested during the operations. Officers also engaged residents who gathered to witness the removal of drug peddlers from their neighborhoods. On-site public education sessions were conducted to inform community members about the dangers of drug abuse and its impact on public safety. NACOC has assured the public that the raids will continue in the coming weeks and months as part of sustained efforts to enhance security and protect lives across the country. The National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons says it has retrieved thousands of guns and ammunition since the declaration of a gun amnesty on December 1st, 2025. Minister for the Interior Muntaka Bubarak declared the period between December 1st and January 15 as a grace period for all persons in possession of illegal weapons to surrender or register them in a move to curb the spread of gun violence in the country. Speaking on the news desk on the JoyNews channel a while ago, Executive Secretary for the Small Arms Commission, Dr. Adam Bona, says with just 15 days to the deadline, a number of these weapons have been surrendered and there are more to recover.
We have retrieved several weapons have been surrounded from all over the country, all the 16 administrative regions of the country, and all the 25 police regions of the country. Know that within this period, there is no importation of arms have ceased, importation of ammunition have ceased, sale of guns and ammunition have ceased, and so within this period, one of the items on the declaration also includes not firing of weapons during the amnesty period. Be they sidearms, shotguns like the pump action and the single barrel, double barrel, and AK-47, M16s, and then the G series, and all. I mean, there are all manner of weapons in the hands of people.
However, he warns that the government will move into full force to persecute all persons who refuse to surrender the arms after January 15.
Well, the amnesty is clear that there is no arrest, there is no prosecution, and there is no interrogation. There is you are free. Bring the weapon. The amnesty says that even if you stole the weapon from the states, surrender the weapon. And there will not be arrest, there will not be prosecution. We don't want a situation where, after the amnesty, suits are going to be conducted. And we know those who have these weapons, just return them. If you don't and you are arrested, you won't be prosecuted by the law and may be sent to prison for up to 15 years. Because possession of illegal weapons and take you in. It's a second degree. You can go in for 15 years.
But as the new year approaches, especially on 31st night crossovers where firecrackers and knockouts are in high demand, the Small Arms Commission says their use is illegal.
For the ban on firecrackers, it is still in place. As far as the Commission is aware, it hasn't been lifted. But it's a conversation that has come up. Another conversation that has come up has to do with toy guns. But it's a conversation we have activated with the Ministry of the Interior and Allied Security Agencies. I want to urge that give us some time whilst we discuss it, because then we want to be focused on retrieving lethal weapons. But these issues have come up. And so it's something that we have discussed at the policy level with the Minister and the other Allied Security Agencies. I believe that something is going to be done about it.
Doc, is that to say that? Doc, is that to say the Commission is aware that people are still using these firecrackers or knockouts?
Yes, I mean, you will hear people. I don't know anyone who has discharged a firecracker, but while you are home, you will hear a firecracker that has been discharged. So we are aware. But what I'm saying is that it's something that is being discussed, how to tackle it. It is going to be, you will hear very soon what is going to be done moving forward. But that, I will defer that to the Minister of the Interior and the rest. So I would want to concentrate on the amnesty and the rest.
Well, Doc, just to inform you that this festive season, there are so many firecrackers that are being sold. In fact, at Dankwa Circle, there are so many sellers, who have put up these firecrackers and are selling.
Well, just like you are saying, like I said, it is something that has come to the notice of government, the notice of the Commission, the police, the Interior Minister and his team and everybody. But my mandate was to ensure that we retrieve lethal weapons. I will defer the issue of firecrackers. We have discussed it at a level, but it is something that is illegal, but it will be dealt with. So you give us some time. I believe that it's something that I wouldn't want to make any pronouncement on them in terms of punitive measures and all that, because the laws are clear. Don't sell, don't discharge, and don't use firecrackers. But I think for some time, people have used it. So you give us some time. It's something that we have taken notice of. A decision will be made very soon with regards to how to tackle it. By the way, we are tackling lethal weapons. I'm sure that a decision will be made, and I believe our mandate is to help make the country safer.
Now, the TOR Refinery's resumption, which targets an expansion of its nameplate capacity to 60,000 barrels per stream day in the medium term, raises concerns as experts flag inadequate crude supply as the major challenge affecting the refinery. The refinery has officially resumed crude oil refining operations following the successful completion of major turnaround maintenance works on its crude distillation unit carried out between August 1st and October 30. As the refinery projects to restore its original nameplate capacity of 45,000 barrels per stream day, up from the current operating level of 28,000 barrels per stream day, energy experts continue to cite inadequate crude supply as the key constraint. Joining me from the JoyNews research team is Caleb Zeblem with more on the significance of the refinery to the country. Thanks for joining us, Caleb. Caleb, how significant is TOR resuming operations for the country?
Sheila, so every month we need dollars to go and import crude products into the country. Now, the main reason why the former government introduced the good for oil policy was because every month we need about $400 million to go and buy refined petroleum for the country. So if you find a way of reducing the amount of dollars that you need to bring in refined crude, you protect your city. So that was the whole thinking about, trying to find other ways to bring in crude into the country. Now we have a refinery, not the TOR Refinery, since the 1960s, and then the government took over in the 1970s. So the oil refinery is supposed to refine crude and then provide it to the domestic market. But the problem is that with TOR, there's always issue with getting the raw supply, that's crude. Even though we produce crude oil in the country, most of it we have some contracts that have buyers already, and then there are players in the markets, that's Tullow and the others, they also have their own buyers. So TOR usually struggles to get crude oil. So understanding how TOR is going to get consistent supply of crude oil is one thing. But then once we get the crude oil, we also have to know the terms of the contract, whether they've also decided to share some of the refined crude with other countries, or the entire production comes together. Because so far, we have some refineries in Ghana, and then so far that contributes to about 9% of Ghana's total refined petroleum consumption. That's from petrol to diesel to jet fuel, LPG, and all of that. So even though we have 9%, we need to increase this more. Because like I said, this year we are spending about $430 million every month importing crude, refined crude into the country. So once the oil refinery comes on board, once we have a steady supply of crude for them to continue refining crude oil into refined petroleum, and also once we can get the entire production output from Oil Refinery for the country, we need to know how much that is and how much that will save us in terms of forex every month. Because $430 million is no small joke.
It's no small joke. Well, thank you for joining us. That's my colleague Caleb Ziblim from the Joy News Desk. Now, let's listen to energy and financial economist at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Jibril Mohammed. He spoke on Prime Morning this morning.
So right now, one of the key things is that are they able to have significant crude oil to be able to refine? That has been the challenge all the time. So the point is that they are working very hard to ensure that I think they can bring that together. I mean, currently their capacity is at 28,000, and all the 4 columns that they are doing, the column 1 has been dysfunctional for the past 30 years.
Now let's hear from the Corporate Affairs Officer at TOR, Godwin Mahama Ayaba. Good afternoon, Godwin, and thanks for joining us this afternoon. All right, Godwin, tell us, the refinery is expected to increase its original nameplate capacity to 45,000 barrels per stream day from the current operating level of 28,000 barrels per stream day. How much Ghanaian crude is expected to be refined under this expansion? All right, we're unable to hear from Godwin at this time. He cannot hear us, but we'll try and reach him as we progress. Now, to our next story, the Ghana Water Company Limited says revenue mobilization remains a major challenge as persistent non-payment of bills and widespread illegal connections continue to undermine the company's capacity to expand distribution pipelines and improve water treatment infrastructure. Speaking to Joy News, the company's public relations officer, Stanley Mate, noted that while many consumers default on their water bills, illegal connections further erode GWCL's revenue base, slowing efforts to improve service delivery across the country.
The Ghana Water Limited has had enormous challenges during the course of 2025. I mean, people haven't paid their bills the way we expect, so it's been very difficult managing the company in 2025. Now, our expectation is that people will take on a new leaf come 2026 and pay their bills so that we can have funds in the system to serve our customers the way we want to. We need to build new treatment plants. We need to expand the existing ones. We need to extend pipelines. We need to change the old outmoded equipment, pumps. We need to change old pipelines and all that. That can only be done with revenue. But when people are stealing the water and not paying, it becomes very difficult for us to rope in revenue to enable us to do those things. We can only do those things when we have funds, and the funds only come from the revenue that we collect from, or the letter that we collect from our customers after they have consumed our water. we also have to buy chemicals and buy every input needed for the treatment of water. So if people refuse to pay, then it becomes very difficult for us to have funds and to import all the chemicals and every input needed for the treatment of water. So we'll urge Ghanaians, let's take on a new leaf. Let's pay our bills promptly. Let's stop illegal connections, and let's help Ghana Water Company Limited to serve you better.
Meanwhile, he has urged Ghanaians to use water responsibly as the country approaches the dry season, assuring that GWCL is taking all necessary measures to ensure a stable water supply during the festive period.
Now we are also entering into the dry season. The Harmattan season is coming. January, February, we enter into very serious dry season. We also urge that people will use water wisely. As a company, we are doing everything possible to ensure that we maintain our equipment and everything. So during the festivities, we'll be able to serve our people with water. But we expect that whilst water is flowing in your home, you try to use it wisely so that your neighbors can also have some water to dwell on. Let us stop the wastage of water. Water is precious. It's precious and it's life. So if others do not get it, it becomes a challenge. But if you are getting, think of your neighbors, and let's ensure that we have a fruitful celebration, very peaceful, calm, and enjoy each other. As a company, we have done everything possible to ensure that there are no technical hitches. Okay, so but predicaments are bound to happen. So we wouldn't give the total assurance that nothing will happen, because we can't even foresee or foretell the future. As humans, we have done what is expected of us, and we'll also pray that everything moves smoothly. So barring any technical hitches, we should have a smooth yield tide. I want Ghanaians to be prosperous so that we'll be able to pay their water bills. If you pay your bill during the around this time, and then in the new year, you could have a gift. So I'll urge everybody to pay their bills. So you could pay at a collection point, and now we have made it also very easy for customers to pay. You can, in the comfort of your home, you can dial *1010# and follow the prompt to pay your bills.
All right, now let's retrace to our earlier story on TOR, which is the Tema Oil Refinery's resumption, which targets an expansion of its nameplate capacity to 60,000 barrels per stream day in the medium term, raises concerns as experts flag inadequate crude supply as the major challenge affecting the refinery. The refinery has officially resumed crude oil refining operations following the successful completion of major turnaround maintenance works on its crude distillation unit carried out between August 1st and October 30. As the refinery projects to restore its original nameplate capacity of 45,000 barrels per stream day, up from the current operating level of 28,000 barrels per stream day, energy experts continue to cite inadequate crude supply as the key constraints. Now we'll hear from the Corporate Affairs at TOR, Godwin Mahama, who is joining us via Zoom. Good afternoon, Godwin. Now, the refinery is expected to increase its original nameplate capacity to 45,000 barrels per stream day from the current operating level of 28,000 barrels per stream day. How much Ghanaian crude is expected to be refined under this expansion?
Okay, thank you very much. If you can hear me, for this opportunity for us to have a conversation with the general public and put out facts and do some clarification. Yeah, it is true. On the 19th of December, TOR officially started operation after several years of inactivity. Before the appointment of the MD, we are all aware the president, part of his campaign promise was to come and revive TOR. And this is part of the reason why when he appointed the Minister for Energy and Green Transition and the MD and the Deputy MD, he tasked them to make sure TOR is revamped. And that is what they have done after less than a year of taking over of TOR. As to the quantity of the local crude that TOR can refine, what we must all know is that, one, TOR can refine our local crude.
All right.
Because our local crude is a sweet crude. In the year 2015-2016, during the former MD's era, who is Mr. Iwadako, the Jubilee crude was refined. So there has been a lot of issues as to whether TOR can refine the local crude or not. It is a fact we can refine the local crude because what we are currently refining is a sweet crude, and we also have the sweet crude.
All right.
As to the quantity.
That noted, Godwin. But given that most oil fields in the country are already bound by lifts and export contracts, and their crude oil is exported, if Ghana ends up importing crude for refining, what portion of the refined product is expected to be retained for domestic consumption?
All would depend on the contract TOR or the government of Ghana will sign with a foreign company who will be providing us with a crude and the type of contract we will be signing. TOR, we can decide to then buy the crude ourselves, own it by ourselves. If that becomes the arrangement, what it means is that every finished product that will get out of the refining of the crude, all will remain in Ghana and Ghanaians will get the full benefit. However, if the contract suggests that we are doing what we call the tolling system, where individuals, companies will bring their crude, we refine for them, then we take charges. Then that one, obviously, when they bring their crude and refine for them, the finished product goes back to them. Ghana's benefit of it is just going to be the charges we will take for refining their crude for them. So all will depend on the arrangement that will be made between the government of Ghana, TOR, and whatever partner we will be having with in order for them to provide us with a crude. But let me also state that I know many experts have questioned the consistency as to how or why, how we are going to get crude to be able to feed the CDU. I want to assure everybody and all experts that structures, MOUs, has been signed to make sure that we don't lack crude, so that at any time the CDU needs to be fed with crude will be available, because crude has always been one of the problems why TOR has not been functioning. And when the deputy MD came, they did what we call the fish pond method of analysis, did a critical analysis of refinery just to see how come TOR has not been working, what they can do best. And part of it that came out was that crude has always been a problem. So we have factored in all those circumstances, and proper structures has been put in place to make sure that the coming back of TOR will not be a one-time thing, but at least it can be able to stand the test of time. All
right, Godwin. Now, before you go, based on the current operation, the 28,000 barrels per stream day, what percentage of Ghana's demand of refined crude will TOR provide?
Okay, so currently we are refining 28,000 barrels per stream day.
Yeah.
But all things being equal, when we bring on stream the furnace, which is the F61, to add up with the furnace F1, we should be able to do the 45,000. And with those two furnaces, we are in the medium term, we'll be doing somewhere 60,000 per stream day. If you're able to hit the 60,000 as part of our medium term plan, that should cater for about 60% of the national consumption.
All right, thanks for joining. This
F61 will come on stream on the day of the recommissioning of the refinery, and that will be done by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He will officially tie in the F61 to the CDU, and after that is done, then officially TOR will announce a 45,000 barrels per stream day production.
All right, we'll be on standby for more updates from you. And that's Godwin Mahama, who is the Corporate Affairs Officer of Tema Oil Refinery. Now, Member of Parliament for Ebuakwa South, Dr. Kingsley Agyemang, has warned that DVLA's current approach to suspend the new number plate system amounts to perpetuating an illegality and could have serious public safety implications. According to him, the continued use of old and temporary vehicle number plates following the suspension of the new system puts drivers at risk of operating vehicles that cannot be fully insured under the Motor Spare Parts Act. Speaking on the AM show, Dr. Agyemang added that this could render vehicles technically defective and legally unroadworthy, exposing road users to accidents without proper insurance coverage.
But whilst you're raising the public safety concerns, the DVLA as an authority, are they in breach of any law at all?
Yes, because they are causing or permitting a vehicle that cannot be insured fully in consonance with the Third Party Act. You know, the Motor Third Party Act is a compulsory provision of our law.
Yeah.
So if you are causing or you are permitting, it means that you are perpetuating an illegality. So the registration must continue from the 1st of January with the usual way of registering. Remember, when we say something is DV, what it means is that it's a defective vehicle. It means that it is not roadworthy.
Right.
It has not assumed roadworthiness for it to have full insurance. So it's a temporary cover that is given to the users of these vehicles. What I'm even more worried about is that the Commissioner of Insurance sits on the DVLA board. So how do we allow this thing to continue? You know, motor insurance is a compulsory and protected party risk. Anybody that gets onto a highway. So let me just get a bit into it. You realize that you can't have laws without taking into cognizance as societal behavior. If you have observed, you can't get into the last quarter of every year. Anybody that purchases a car will want to register the vehicle in the ensuing year, so that they get a fresh registration. Because largely, vehicle prices are determined by the year it is registered. So if you have a DV, a DP, these are temporary covers when it comes to motor insurance. For instance, DP, some call it direct from port, others call it departure from port. The insurance cover that it provides is so limited. It covers just the drivers and no other person that's in the vehicle, in addition to the third party risk around. When it comes to the DV, it covers just the driver and the passenger.
Now, fire outbreaks continue to threaten lives and property nationwide, many of them preventable. In response, the Ghana National Fire Service took fire safety education from Circle through Accra's Central Business District. The sensitization targeted motorists, traders and pedestrians with a focus on fire prevention and basic emergency response. Patrols have also been intensified in markets and densely populated areas. Greater Accra Regional Fire Commander ACFO2 Rashid Nisao is urging the public to be safety conscious this festive season. He spoke to my colleague Michelle Latte.
As part of the Greater Accra Regional Command's lineup of activities to mark the year, we have decided that throughout the region, as in Ngwa, as in Adenta, as in Medina, as in Legon, as in Weja, Amasaman, the CBD here, today we've declared today as to paint Accra red. Paint Accra red through fire safety campaign. The campaign has gone on throughout the region, and I'm happy. You are all also happy that I'm happy. Now, the issue is very simple. Celebrating Christmas, you cannot do without fire. Fried rice is fried with what? Fire. Kebab is roasted with what? Fire. Your tilapia and banku is what? Fire. Your fufu is what? Fire. Even the music that you will enjoy, your air condition, behind it is what? Electricity. And it is all what? Fire. It is for this reason that we have dedicated today, 29 December 2025, to paint Accra red through fire safety what campaign. I want to entreat each and everyone here to know that fire safety is a shared responsibility. Do not think that it is the responsibility of fire service alone. We have rolled out a series of activities. This paint Accra red is only one. We have face-to-face that is coming. Face-to-face is going to be at Mokola Mall on the 31st. Face-to-face is going to come to Kantamanto on the 2nd. Remember last year on the 2nd of January, this year, 2nd January 2025, will be exactly what? 1 year. The media, you are invited. We are going to have a memorial service and ensure that such things will never what? Repeat again. So on the 2nd of what? January, we are going to Kantamanto. Now we've also started our patrol duties. The patrol duties in the markets, sensitive installations, i.e. banks, Electricity Company of Ghana installations, Ghana Water Company installations, the ministries, markets, everywhere we are patrolling. We have also established fire posts in almost all the stations, markets in the Greater Accra region. I.e. Mokola, we have a fire post. We have a market post at Agogloshi. We have a market post in Medina. We have a market post in Weja. We have a market post in Domi. We have also established a complaints unit. Now the complaints unit, through the directive of the chief officer, Daniela Ntomausi Sapon, she's saying that anybody who is doing something that you think can cause fire, please walk to the nearest fire station and complain. We also have numbers at the regional level and at the district level that we are rolling out that you can complain through. You just call and complain. If it is video that you want to video, you can also video and send it. I wouldn't like to bore you with a lot, but I want to tell you that people think fire safety is the responsibility of fire service alone. You are making a mistake. That is not true. Why? The suffering emanating from fires is not a small thing. The devastation. In fact, people's businesses have never come back to life because of fire. People's families have collapsed because of what? Fire. So we are taking it. And I'm saying something. The focus is too much on security instead of what? Safety. Let me tell you, there is no thief in this world who can steal the whole of Mokola market. There is no thief anywhere. But I can tell you, when fire enters there, the next 10 to 15 minutes, the whole place will change. And that is the reason why your focus should change from security to fire what? Safety.
Well, you're still live on Joy Newsroom Midday. My name is Sheila Sechi. We'll take a quick break. Right after this is business.
Welcome back to business here on JoyNews Today. My name is Winston Taki, and our first business story. The government recorded a 19% oversubscription of treasury bills for the 5th week running. That's according to the auction result by the Bank of Ghana. Meanwhile, interest rate went up across the yield curve. There is more in this Business Desk report.
The target for the auction was estimated at 3.3 billion Ghana cedis, but the government got 3.95 billion, about 19.69% oversubscription. It, however, accepted 3.89 billion cedis worth of total bids. A little over 61% of the bids came from the 91-day bill. 2.449 billion Ghana cedis was tendered. The uptake was 2.447 billion Ghana cedis. For the 182-day bill, 781.43 million Ghana cedis was tendered. The bids accepted were estimated at 726.43 million Ghana cedis. Also, 726.43 million Ghana cedis was tendered for the 364-day bill. The same amount of the bids were accepted. Meanwhile, interest rates increased across the yield curve. The yield on the 91-day bill went up by a basis point to 11.09%. That of the 182-day bill also jumped to 12.52% from 12.43% the previous week. The yield on the 364-day bill rose by 3 basis points to 12.94%.
Away from that, as artificial intelligence continues to transform the global business space, Ghana's MSMEs are being encouraged to adopt technology to drive growth. The message was delivered by Juliana Asabia Dako on behalf of the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry at the UNDP Ghana NIMD series in Accra.
Recognize that technology is a strategic enabler of economic transformation. The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, through the MSME Directorate, continues to implement targeted policies and programs aimed at building a resilient and technology-driven private sector. These include working with ecosystem partners to enhance access to digital tools and innovation apps, facilitating engagement that help MSMEs integrate technology into their business operations, aligning our national MSME and entrepreneurship policies with global technology. Today's NIMD session strongly aligns with these national priorities. The platform UNDP has created for knowledge sharing, skill development, and innovation exchange is essential to support the growth of a modern, competitive MSME sector.
That's all for business. My name is Winston Taki. We have more news for you after this break. Stay tuned.